Oh, hello everyone.
No.
No? We're not live yet?
No.
That's all good.
Sorry. Now you're live.
Hello everyone. I'm Tim from Tim's PC, and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. Also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you'd like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Alrighty, that's what I like to say, isn't it? So, what have we got on tonight? We have a couple of PCs being built. So, the main one that everyone's going to be excited for is going to be PC number 2, because it's the RTX 4090. So it's the Gigabyte gaming OC. So we've used the gaming OC, but the 4080, not the 4090. So it's the first time that particular card is featured here. But up first, we've got Peter's PC. So Peter has actually lucked out because of the issue that we had with Umart on Saturday. A lot of people's orders or stock for their orders has been paid for by direct debit to Umart in order to secure the stock, because their credit card payment portal was offline pretty much all day on Saturday. So they could not process any credit card transactions, and I buy all of my stock on credit card, so that's the norm for me. So that kind of put a spanner in the works. A lot of Black Friday specials that I was getting for customers and stuff were at Umart, so that was a bit of a spanner in the works. So a few people have actually had a bit of bad luck, and their builds have been pushed to like a little bit later, and a couple of people who actually ordered and paid today are going to get their PCs built same day and ready for shipping or collection the next day. So they have gotten really lucky. So yeah.
You wants to know how much what's the ballpark figure for something like this?
So for this first one here, this is an RTX 3080 build. Sorry, 3060 Ti. Sorry, let me actually say the words right. I'm thinking about the 4090, and I'm thinking about what's basically the new 3060 Ti. No. So this one here is a Ryzen 5600X. It is an MSI X570 MEG motherboard, same one we used the other day. Got a 1TB Samsung 980 SSD, got an RTX 3060 Ti, a 2TB hard drive, 32GB of Thermaltake RAM, 650 watt power supply, 240mm all-in-one liquid cooler, and we're going to be putting it in the NZXT H5 Flow case. So this one here it's just called the H5 Flow, not the Elite or anything like that. And basically this is the Thermaltake revision, where we can mount a radiator, a 240mm radiator, to the top of our case. So that is a real big win in my opinion, and I'm glad to be able to start recommending NZXT branded cases to people. Yeah. Yes, this is definitely a favourite. So the cost of this build here was $26.35 and included some shipping. So shipping was within Queensland, so not too expensive there for the shipping.
John says g'day to Chris.
Hey John, how you going? Good to have you with us. Okay. So this is a really boss motherboard. Christine noticed that it doesn't have a HDMI or DisplayPort output on the case, but it does actually say that it's compatible with AMD chips with onboard graphics. I think you have to use the USB-C port for your display cable if that's actually accurate, and it's not just falsely described on the website that I read it on. Could just be a copy and paste job gone wrong in the description of it. So this X570 board has triple M2 slots, 16 pins of CPU power, dual channel memory, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is it just 7? Yeah, just 7 fan headers. 1, 2, 3 RGB headers. It's got 2 USB 3s, got Type C, a whole heap of other stuff as well. Yep.
John says, hey, what the fuck is up with the table?
Yeah, so new table.
Well, not really.
Not really a new table, but a different table. A table that doesn't wobble quite as much. So hopefully people won't be getting as nauseous from our live streams, basically. I mean, I don't notice it. I'm just sitting here at the table doing my thing. But apparently it's bad since I moved the table off the wall where it was at our previous location. Alrighty, so Ryzen 5600X, still an excellent CPU, perfect to pair with any 30 series graphics card. I do recommend the Intel 13th gen or 12th gen to pair with 40 series though, or basically just one chip from AMD I would pair with that, and that's the 5800 X3D. Bit of a mouthful, that one. But unfortunately, the X3D, I've got one rig sold that's coming up with that. But the problem was, they're $50 cheaper down in Melbourne. It's a really sharp price down in Melbourne, and I've had to order a couple from there. But the ones in Queensland were more expensive. By like $50, which is, you know, it's not nothing. No, it's not gonna work. Is that a big chunk of fluffy cat hair on the dim slots?
Huh?
Big cloud of fluffy cat hair landed right in the RAM slots.
There's still some in there.
Ugh. Yep, 500. That is the one. That is a really good price for an RX. Sorry, bloody hell, spit it out, Tim. A 5800 X3D. No, I don't even need that because I have to use the screw on the heatsink. Yeah.
John says, fuck, I just ordered up a heap of seasick tablets.
No, mate. You don't need them. You can refund them. Get them refunded. Okay. So this is one of the Black Friday specials right here. So this is one from Umart, and these are normally, I think they're normally like about $200, $159 for a 16 gigabyte kit, 3600 megahertz CL18, RGB RAM, and it's not, you know, like from a random brand as what a lot of people would refer to them as. This is actually quite nice looking Thermaltake RAM. So this stuff here is sort of like designed to go up against, like, you know, your Corsair Dominator Platinum and stuff like that. Thermaltake sort of competing with Corsair on that level with these. So this is actually a really, really good buy, even if some people might not fully recognize how decent of a buy it actually is. Okay. No, I need to finish my coffee. I'm an iced coffee kind of person, if you know what I mean. I used to just do the double shots, but I've migrated up to triple shots these days.
Because it's better.
I don't necessarily think that it's better, I just need it. Okay, so we've got our SSD and our RAM and our CPU installed. It's time to turn our attention to the cooler. Yeah, what's up?
It's like some of the years missing. Don't blame the poor cat.
Okay. So we've got a few fans here. We've got a few fans for our case, and we've got a few fans for our cooler. So two 40mm cooler here. It's going to be top mounted in our case. Okay. So on the bottom of these coolers, there's no thermal paste pre-applied, and there's a piece of sticky over the plate. Now, even if you're one of these people who don't like to take the sticky off anything, you have to remove this bit of sticky. Every other bit of sticky is kind of optional, even though.
Except for the ones on the motherboard.
Even then, I'm going to say it's kind of optional, but like everything's designed to be air cooled, even the glass panel on the side of the case. So it doesn't make sense to leave it all shrink wrapped up, right? Like it's not, yeah. Doesn't make sense to bother with that, you know, for the life of the PC, only to sell it to someone else at the end of its life and it looks nice. It's like, yeah, so what? Yeah. Yes, so Luke's is up next with the 4090. So this one here is not too complicated. So neither is Luke's, but I mean Luke's is the one that, you know, everyone wants to see, right? It's the 4090. It's the PC part porn. Not that there's anything wrong with this. I reckon this is a sexy rig. It's gonna look really, really nice. Christine's still not fully convinced with the NZXT cases. She doesn't like them.
I don't like the brand.
She doesn't like the brand.
I don't have to like it.
No, she doesn't have to like it. She doesn't have to like it. Maybe that's something NZXT can work on with their appeal to females. Appeal to the female market.
I just don't like the name.
Don't like the
feel like
name.
they're trying to be cool.
Well, they are. Of course they're trying to be cool. Of course they're trying to be cool. It's the name of the game.
Yes.
But see, if you can try to be cool, I don't have a problem with trying to be cool, but you've got to actually be cool. If you want to try to be cool, if you know what I mean. If not, you're kind of lame, right? Alrighty.
Looks like it might rain again.
So I'm just going to put a little X of thermal compound there down on the CPU. So if you're wondering what's the best way to apply the thermal paste, it really doesn't matter.
Joel says she's still in love with my case.
How will we position this? Because we've got that DIMM slot directly below it.
Holy shit.
let me just, before I forget, let me just run this cable exactly where I want it. Where the fuck did that other bolt go? How the fuck did it end up over there?
Is it fit?
You're meant to know these things, babe. You're meant to be watching every little thing that's going on
Oh, yeah.
and pointing out what's going on.
Very funny. It's like, I thought it was.
I thought it was great. I was really good. Oh, it's really good stuff, man. Don't tell him I got half a mind to thrash him.
Don't tell him you've got half a million fresh.
He might agree with you. You've got to be careful. Words, they're buggers, aren't they?
Yeah, the buggers.
Okay. So basically, we got the pipes. We got to position it like up here. It's going to keep everything out of the way of there. These pipes are pretty chunky coming off the bottom. Just want to make it nice and easy to access that bottom M2 slot there.
Fiona wants to know where we're hiding the new employee. He's gone home for the day, actually.
Yeah, he's gone home for the day. We let him off early.
Sunday rates, right?
No, it's not
got
Sunday.
nothing to do with that.
He's a very lucky young fella who gets paid as an adult, even though he's not an adult. He's only 17, so he doesn't mind. I'm like, there's no Sunday rate here. I'm sorry, I can't offer you a Sunday rate. And he's like, yeah, that doesn't matter, man. I get in 2 hours. I earn the same as what I get Domino's like all week. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. Yeah.
John says, pointing out when he fucks up more to the point. Yes.
Yes. I've got to go slightly easier on him because he's young and he's got to get used to everything. And he has to learn about what it's like working with old Timbo. I'm a pretty good boss, but I do have pretty high standards of things. But I think I'm a good boss because I'm fair to my team and to my employees. I'm relatively patient with people. I'm good at explaining ththings again and again and again and again until people get it. So I think that these are actually like, that might sound a bit like drab, but these are what I find to be good qualities in a boss. You need to be a motivator, but you can't be someone who like constantly tears down their employees. There's a time and a place to bring the smackdown on your team, and then there's a time and place to support and nurture your team. Yeah.
Kyle says, hey man, how's it going?
Hey man, how you going? Good to have you here, as always.
Fiona says, he seems like a good kid. Most kids these days
Yeah, yeah. Yes, no. He's all good. He's sober from what I know, which is good. Don't want to be like enabling anyone's drug problem. That's never a good thing. Like it might seem good to the person, but like it's not really.
So says you have someone who helps you build PCs too.
No. I build all the PCs here, and I do all the sales. So if you get a quote for a PC, it's from me. Yeah. So I'm just going to put one cable tie around all these fans here, and that is just so they don't fall out of position. There we go. So that is all ready to go into our case. Yeah.
John says on the back of the box, I've been told on quite a few occasions, he says I have no patience at all.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of lucky because instead of finishing grade 12 at high school, I went and did it at TAFE and started working full time at Coles, and I was a manager at Coles when I was like 18. So I was already learning how to deal with people and shit from a young age. So I think that's kind of helped worked in my favour. Certainly gave me experience and insight into different things at a relatively young age compared to some other people my own age. I don't mind. It set me up. It set me up in the business world at a young age. I'm happy. I got no regrets. School's not for everyone, right? Like I'll tell you a story. I got expelled from school, and I just decided, nah, fuck that. I'm not going to start another high school in grade 10. So that was my decision. And if you've ever if you ever remember high school and what it's like, starting new schools and stuff at that age, it's not necessarily the most pleasant experience, to say the least. So I decided against that. What did I get expelled from school for? You'll laugh at this. I got expelled for a joke. A total practical joke that we were all pissing ourselves laughing about. We're just kids. This wasn't saying that I really don't think they should have expelled me for it. You be the judge of this. I think this is something that they should have, given me a stern talking to about why this was bad as a 15-year-old. So me and my friends, we thought it was absolutely hilarious when we saw these grade 8 kids listening to rap music and wearing their caps backwards and trying to be little gangsters. And so we were like, let's troll the fuck out of these grade 8s. Let's sell them weed, but we'll sell them bags of grass clippings. So I sold these grade 8 kids back freaking grass clippings off the Oval. And yeah, the dickhead little kid left it in his bag, and his mum found it, and then called the principal and made this big deal out of it and stuff as if it was drugs. And freaking, I was just like, it's a bag of grass, and they're like, they just didn't care. They were like, nah, you sold it as drugs, so you're getting treated as if it's drugs. We're expelling you from the school based on that. And I was just like, are you serious? And so yeah, I never went back to school. It was like, I said to my parents, I'm like, nah, I don't want to do this. Is there some other option? And yeah, sure enough, there actually was another option. You can do grade 11 and 12 at TAFE. So, happy days. Yeah.
John says I left school at 15, just had a bad-tempered prick.
Yeah.
Just a bad-tempered prick.
Yeah, I can totally understand. As soon as there was a different option for me, I was like, yeah, fuck this, I'm out. I'm not going starting a new school and going through having to make like all these new friends for no fucking reason. I don't want to make any new friends. I got my fucking friends. I had my friends like both at school and out of school. I was 15. I was already, as far as I was concerned, I'm an adult now, mum. Fuck you, sort of thing. Like, I was happy with my life. I didn't want to go and play any other freaking games, starting a new school and shit like that at 15. No, fuck that. If I can't go to this school where all my friends are, then I'm not going back to school. Yeah.
Expelled and publicly flogged would be my verdict for you.
Yeah. Expelled and publicly flogged. Yeah, probably deserved it. But see, the thing is, I was a kid and I didn't. See, as far as I was concerned, I wasn't selling drugs. I was fucking trolling the stupid grade 8 kid who should have known better. That's how I saw it. So, you know, for me, it's just a big practical joke. No one, if you'd sat me down and been like, yeah, but you've sold it as drugs, and then you've taken money from him as if it's drugs, and you've told the ignorant little dickhead that it's drugs, so you're basically a drug dealer. And then I would have gone, oh shit, I never really thought of it like that. Because I was 15. 15-year-old boys don't fucking think about this sort of shit. They just don't, man. If you've been a 15-year-old boy, I should say, being a 15. If you've been a 15-year-old boy, you know for a fact that you don't think things properly. You don't think things through like an adult. You're just like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I'm gonna fucking do this, I'm gonna do that, blah 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 blah. Yeah, exactly.
John says my first job when I left school was driving a dozer here at Scrub.
Ah, nice, very nice.
Everyone says I got kicked out just like you did.
Yeah. It is fairly common. It used to be very, very common to leave school around grade 10 age. That used to be the norm. Like, both my parents left school at that age. But they're a lot older as well, and yeah, that was just completely normal for them. And then for my mum, she ended up actually getting a doctoral degree, so she's quite educated. But then she left school at 15 and started a whole life doing other things, and then it was like in her 30s she was like, nah, I'm gonna like actually apply myself and go through and do some university and study what I want to study and all that. So she went and did all that like at a later stage, which you can always do. I mean, that's the thing that kids these days might not necessarily understand. They sell school to you like this is it. This is the be all and end all of your life. If you don't succeed here, you're fucked. You'll be flipping burgers. That's what they used to tell me and my kids. And kids in my class are like, if you don't do well in school, you'll be flipping burgers for the rest of your life. If you can't do this, if you can't do maths, you'll be fucked. Like, oh, you can't just use your calculator. You got to learn how to do all these equations like on paper because you know you're never going to have a calculator in your pocket all the time.
Bullshit.
Like all this crap, and it's just like you know, there are other ways. If this isn't working out for you, then don't fucking continue doing something that's not working out. Yeah.
Darren says hi from the It's my name.
Hey, Darren. Good to have you with us. All the way from the UK. So Darren's definitely our furthest away fan. Alrighty, so what have we got here?
A fan.
We have a fan. This is quite interesting. So we've got daisy chainable. It's okay, cool. So with this one connection, I can daisy chain fan number 2. That's really cool. So I haven't used these fans before. These were a substitute just due to availability. Couldn't get other fans. So these are the Silverstone Slimmer ARGB 120mm fans. So compared to a normal 120mm fan, as you can see, they're about 40% slimmer. So this is good if you've got a situation where it's really, really tight clearance and stuff in the case. And there's also daisy chainable connections here for the RGB, so you don't actually need to run as many cables to them. So I'm just going to hook up this here, just on the side, and should just be able to pull this panel off the front. Oh, lifts up at the front there, at the bottom I should say. And we'll go ahead and mount these. Yeah.
John says in year 7 he got suspended 19 points for fighting.
Oh mate, I know. Yeah, you're like a kid at my primary school as well. He was always picking fights. Like if you're an idiot and you crossed his path, he was probably gonna punch you in the face at some stage. Like he was the kind of guy he always get in trouble, and you know, he was the kind of guy you'd just be like, oh man, what's old mate doing today? What's he gonna say to the teacher? Like one of the teachers used to try to be nice to him and stuff. He used to try to engage him and stuff like that, and he just like thought he was a complete dickhead. And he used to just like call him. His name was Mr. Hurd, and he'd like come up and try to like be nice to this kid, and then he'd just be like, "Yeah, fuck off, turd burger." Yeah.
John says in all honesty I never started one fight.
Oh really? Oh shit. No, well that's not like this guy. This guy was the instigator all the time.
A good also, what do you say about the new wireless Wi-Fi NZXT fans? Good or bad?
Oh, I haven't used them, so I reserve my judgment till I actually get a hold of some.
Wireless.
But I would definitely, that does not sound like the sort of thing that I would just randomly buy for any of my customers. I wouldn't suggest them or use them in a customer's build until I had a good idea and understanding about what they're like. So I'd wait for one of my friends to use them for some of their PC builds first before I just like put them in a customer's PC and make them a guinea pig. Some of my friends who have other PC businesses, they're kind of like, they're structured differently to mine, and you know they're like they'll do a lot more. They do a lot more bulk buying than me. Whereas, you know, pretty much I buy everyone's parts to order. I offer the full warranty on parts, and I don't usually make much money, if any, on PC parts. But other businesses will buy up in bulk of certain things, and when you do that, you'll typically get free gifts of like, hey, try these new blah 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 fans or whatever. And so when some of those guys get them and they have a play around with them, then I can ask someone I trust about what they're like, and should I use them, what the problems were, etc., etc. Yeah.
And listeners, thank you to me because they ain't cheap.
Yeah, no, so I wouldn't use them until I was confident that they were actually good. If it's a new sort of thing entirely, I'd want to make sure at the minimum that the warranty term on it was decent. Remember, when you see things and they've got like a 1-year warranty, that's not something special that they've done. That's the price of admission to sell things in the Australian market. So if you're going to comply with Australian consumer law, you basically got to offer a 1-year warranty on your product, unless it's something that's like not designed to last a year, like pencils. You don't have to offer 1-year warranties on pencils. Okay. You do have to offer a 1-year warranty on some crappy printer, for example. That's the minimum they have to offer. Like a PC fan, it's got to have a minimum of a 1-year warranty. Okay, so we got those 2 fans there on the front. We can put our front panel back on there. It's a nice mesh there with a built-in dust filter. So we got this fan on the back, just a single black one. We won't be needing this at all. So one of the cool things about this case is it has this fan at the bottom there that blows cool air directly on the graphics card. So as you can see down there, there's actually another 120mm fan. So it's kind of like what the Antec Deflux series has with those fans that you can mount directly below the graphics card there. So pretty simple from here, actually. So Peter was going to be getting the Aero G build, the board here, I should say, and it's a nice looking board. But I was like, why did you want this one? And it wasn't really for the looks. It looks nice, but it was mainly for the features. And I was like, if it's about the features, have a look at the MSI Meg, because we can save $100 off the cost of your build straight up with that. So he had a look and decided that, yeah, as long as it had the one Type-C, you didn't really need the dual Type-C, and it wasn't worth spending an extra $100 for. So we went with this one instead. Geez, they pack these fans in here tight. Connectors here. It's kind of cool. I don't mind it. I'm seeing these style of connectors more and more, so that's a good thing. Gigabyte off there. Okay, so that is our case all prepped and ready to go. So we've got our hard drive installed there. Probably the only downside with this case is just you can't fit too many drives in here. You can only fit the one 3.5-inch drive. And yeah, that's about it. So there's a 2.5-inch drive bay there you could use, but it's not as important these days because our motherboards have just got more and more M.2 slots these days. Okay, let's get our motherboard in the case and let's get our cooler mounted. Nose. Not good. Yeah.
Matthew says new AMD graphics cards and new CPU chipsets sound pretty wild in regards to specs.
Not so much the CPUs. They've been a little bit underwhelming. And it's been overshadowed by Intel 13th gen. But they're fairly power efficient, and I mean that's one of AMD's strong points. Yep. The graphics cards look pretty cool. Yep.
Devin says, love watching your videos, mate. Can't wait to watch my rig get built next week.
Yep. Yeah, yours will be coming up real soon. I think you're one of the unlucky ones, aren't you? Who ordered on Friday.
I think so.
And has ended up getting stuffed around. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. No, it's really not my fault because it was due to Umart having their credit card payment system go down.
So
Yeah.
George says, hey guys, is this a 4090 build?
No, this one here is a 3060 Ti. We're doing this one first, then we're doing the 4090 after this. So get ready.
So,
Yeah.
Devin says, I believe so. Yeah, needed parts from Melbourne, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few people with getting some stuff from Melbourne. I think Devin's Devon's is the open loop, isn't it? I'm pretty sure Devon's is the open loop. So we've got an open loop coming up, or aka a custom loop, or custom water-cooled PC. So that is where we install our own tubing and our own fluid and stuff like that. Closed loop is like the liquid coolers that we're using here on tonight's build.
Devon says, yeah, bro, he's so excited.
Yeah, it's gonna look sweet. Let me know if you want coloured fluid or anything like that. Don't use the metallic fluid. Remember old mate with the metallic fluid, what it did to the water blocks?
That was absolutely trash.
And remember all the flushing we had to do to fix it?
Yes, we spent like a fucking night doing that.
We're flushing it out to fix it, replacing bits of tubing. We ended up having to pull tubing out and clean it with isopropyl alcohol. We had to pull the whole the CPU water block over the CPU. We had to take all that apart, clean it out with isopropyl alcohol. Yeah, it was not good.
It was like putting glitter glue inside your computer.
It was literally causing his PC to overheat. Like, absolutely insane. So don't do that. Use approved fluid, or you don't have to. You can just use. I use the distilled water, right? So that's nothing. That you don't have to pay any extra for that. That's nothing. You buy it at Coles, right? Mm-hmm. It's no problem at all.
Servo, you're lucky enough to have one of those machines up front.
Do they have distilled water at the Servo?
Yeah, the one around the corner there.
No, not the drinking water. The demineralized water.
Yeah, they have that there too.
Really?
Yeah.
It's normally found in the cleaning aisle.
Devon says what colour's nice. People usually go for like red or blue, green, orange.
There we go. Have a look-see at that.
Very nice.
So plenty of room for our graphics card down here. Plenty of room for all of our cables.
So
Yeah.
John says surveys have it to put in batteries.
Ah, yes. Didn't even think of that. See, I'm a Coles boy.
He's got no idea.
Alrighty. Definitely want to put demineralized water in your batteries as well. Alrighty, so we just have the one CPU power connector. We don't need two. We've just got a Ryzen 5600 here. It's a very, very energy efficient chip. And the one CPU power connector that can theoretically supply 150 watt plus. So yeah, not a problem at all. You're not gonna be like bottlenecked or anything like that. I don't think there's any Ryzen 5000 chip that would be bottlenecked by one 8-pin CPU power connector. Alrighty, so I just got one side of power connector there for our pump.
So,
Yeah.
Devin wants to know if you've done any builds in P8 cases before.
I've done one P8. It was a long time ago. I couldn't. You'd have to go through and have a look in the older live streams. A lot of fans for the P8, but we've got a. I'm pretty sure we've got a full assortment of fans for that case, included in the parts that I've ordered. I think I've ordered like a total of 19 fans, and I think we may even need 20. But don't worry, I'll chuck in that extra fan. That's not going to be a problem there. Okay. So we got most things hooked up at the front there. Oh, missing a couple of screws at the bottom. I'll put them in now. And see, what we'll do with this one is we'll get it running and we'll start the stress test on it, and then we'll start building the other one. Then we can come back to it later and see how she's running. Okay. So, what have we got here? Yeah.
Fiona wants to know, will the G-Skill Trident, the Z Neo CL16 designed for AMD CPUs work with Intel motherboards?
The memory.
DDR4?
The memory, yeah. Usually memory compatibility is better with Intel chipset. You'll see like memory specifically for AMD Ryzen more prevalently than you will anything that says for Intel, and that's sort of the reason. Okay, what else have we got? Even all these fans of RGB.
So Joel says, what, 19 fans in one case?
Yeah, 19, 20 fans in one case. Yeah. I'm not kidding.
So,
You thought Leon Lee's had a lot of fans. Yeah.
correctly, wants to know how's cable management in that case. I ordered it for my own good.
Oh, it's gonna be good, dude. It's gonna be real good. Unless you bought like a massive power supply with a heap of non-modular cables or something like that. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. There's plenty of room for everything. Yeah. But that's kind of good though, because that means it's like it's doing something.
I've sprayed the salt like right into it.
Mm.
It's like,
Yep. Oh.
Salt water.
Okay, so what have we got here? We should have, yes, we've got this included fan controller here with fans on our CPU cooler. this is the only confusing part, is hooking up all of these. So yeah.
Just running 3 temperature fans, RTX 600.
Oh no,
The
you'll be
included case
you'll be completely fine, man. No problems at all. Alrighty. So I'll be able to hook up all of our fans and RGB up here. Well, two of our fans anyway, the ones on our cooler, and all of our RGB cables. And then I can just put one cable tie around this bunch of cables here. Doesn't even have to be on there very tight, just enough to keep them together. And then yeah, you can be real particular and get in there and use the Velcro straps there. We won't do that if we don't have to, because obviously around the back here is all of your like room for cable management anyway. We've got a solid panel that's going on the back here, so you're not going to see any of this. And once we close the panel and these wires get pushed down, they're going to sort of stay in their position without any cable ties around them. And so you sort of want as few cable ties back here as possible. You can go nuts with it if you want, but I guarantee you'll only do that once, and then as soon as you have a problem and you've got to cut out all those cable ties, you won't want to go and put a million of them back again. So I never do this to customers. I'm not going to make more work for them, you know, in the event that they have to fix something themselves. Yeah. Hey Bradley, how you going? Good to have you with us. Is this Bradley Grimshaw?
No.
Who's this?
Berthel.
Who? Berthel. No.
What?
Sorry, I'm just thinking. I'm thinking of this. I speak to so many people that yeah, it's sometimes not fully aware. Okay. So we've got. Got 1, 2, 3 more fans to hook up. Which fan ports will I use? Let's use. So I'll use this one up at the very top. You can barely see that. And these two right down the bottom, I think. That would be perfect. Okay, well, believe it or not, that is everything hooked up except for a SATA cable for one of our drives. then we just have our power supply for our motherboard. Plugged it in right there. And we just got our PCIe cable for our graphics card. The little GPU box, and then we've got the big GPU box coming up real soon. Not there's anything wrong with 3060 Ti. It's an excellent price performance option right now. So it's about a third of a 3090, and it's about 4.5 times cheaper. So you do the math on that. Yeah.
So I have a new case and it's a lot better. It's a Corsair 4000D.
Oh yes, 4000D. Yeah. I don't mind that one. That's Christine's case.
No, mine's 4000X.
Oh yes, yours is 4000X because of the RGB lights and the glass at the front, and the 4000D's got the mesh. Yeah, 4000D. The only thing I don't like about it is the position of the top radiator mounts pushes it really close to the RAM. There's a bit of an incompatibility there with some coolers in that top mounting position in some kits of RAM. So that would be my only markdown of Christine's case, because we've got to front mount her radiator because of it. Alrighty. Yep.
You want to go for a swim in this pool?
Huh.
I don't know.
Just a wave pool?
Yeah, that's in China.
Really? I would never have guessed. You showed anyone in the world. You showed anyone in the world where that was. Like, seriously, man. Go up to Greenland and show some kids up in Greenland this footage, like 7 or 8 year olds, and ask them where in the world they think that is. I guarantee they'll say China. I'm just trying to think of the furthest people away from China. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, I feel like I'd get crushed in that, like,
There we
massive.
go. So I didn't have to tie anything down crazy to put the panel on.
Why would you
It's just gone
do
straight
that?
on. There's no bulge in it or anything like that. Just fit nice and tight.
No bulge.
No bulge. No bulge. So Christine will be disappointed.
Damn it.
Oh,
Chuck it away.
apparently. Okay, that is one rig.
You really ripped into that.
Oh, they're stuck in there.
Oh. Fair enough.
There was no way. I would have been there for ages trying to get that fan out of that box without ripping it.
I want to press the button. Oh. Come on, look pretty.
Just give it a second because the controller's coming through. I've synced all the RGB up through the pump.
It's all twisted around.
Yeah, I know. So just give it a second because it's being powered through the USB 2, or being addressed through the USB 2, I should say.
Yay!
There you go. So all the fans will be in sync. Okay, so I think I've got a BIOS for this on. Did you look up the Meg Unify?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. We did this one.
Yeah, I did that.
It's on my SSD, eh? Not the flash drive.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Luke says if Blake fixes you up tonight, when can you do his thing?
It won't be for a few days because I've got all the people on Friday coming up, so it might not be till like Tuesday. So he doesn't have to pay today. Yeah, Blake's is a little bit more expensive. It's a case that's like 150 more.
It's alright. Don't worry. Holy shit, what the hell was that?
Sounded like gunshot.
It did. It wouldn't surprise me if it was. It's Logan.
Could also be just a car backfiring.
Yeah. But I hear no cars going up the road.
No. So Luke, this is just for Luke. So I got you a bit of an upgrade here, dude. I saw this just as I was getting your stuff. I noticed that there was a bundle deal at Umart for the Asus Z690, which is the motherboard chipset up from the B660, and it saved money where I could get you. Well, this board was a bit more expensive, but it needed the included Wi-Fi Type E key that it has a socket for. So I could get that, so it would still have Wi-Fi, and then I got you a faster SSD there. So that's pretty good as well. So still the i9-12900KF, still 16 gigabytes of RAM, Asus Z690M motherboard, and we've still got the Wi-Fi even though it doesn't have it like included on the board, and then a better SSD there as well. So that's pretty cool. That would be the only reason why Blake might want to jump on this, so I can get him this same deal here with these three items you see here. Because that'll just be a Black Friday deal at Umart. So I'll have to buy them from Umart and probably tomorrow to get that deal. Yeah.
Luke says nice for 32 gigs of RAM, yeah, not 16.
Yeah, 32. That's a 32 gigabyte kit.
You might have said 16.
Oh, I meant each stick 16. Sorry. So anyway, just FYI there. It's the same RAM that's in this. Is
yeah,
good.
it says 2x16. Very
Yeah,
good.
yes, 2x16.
Just double check.
She's double checking. She's double checking. I'm being fact checked. I have officially been fact checked. Yeah.
Since PC fact checking.
Yeah. No worries, man. Have a good one. Thanks for chiming in. How can you not like that? How can you not like that? It's good. It's good. Imagine a white one. There's a pure white one. Should we get you the pure white one?
No.
Why not?
I like my Corsair case.
Okay.
I don't want to have to move everything. Do you know how much of a fuck around what it was?
She's
today?
going back to Coles, so I'll just like I'll go and
No!
I'll go and swap it out one day.
Then I'll just tape it to the back of the ute and take it for a drive down the highway.
I'm like stunned Pikachu.
No, I want to go back to home. Don't make me do stuff.
I told you something that you should have pursued more while you're away, but you didn't pursue it. You just slept.
Yeah, because that was more tempting.
Now, how do you feel about that? Don't you wish you did something?
Shut up.
So remember, we did a 4080 and a 4090 in one of these. I'm pretty sure, or maybe it was just the 4090.
I think it was just 90. Oh, I don't remember.
All the builds merge into one in my head. Is that a bad thing? Does that mean I'm getting Alzheimer's? Am I getting dementia?
So,
Yeah.
like, what's the I get upgraded on two books?
Yeah, like that's the idea. The thing is, it's a Good Friday special. It'll only be on tomorrow. Then it will go back to normal price probably. So that's the only caveat there. If you don't have all the money for it just yet, you can pay me just like pay me like a $500. I'll send you an invoice. Pay me a $500 deposit tomorrow, and I'll pick up this special for you.
This is, so I've got till tomorrow, you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of things. Yeah, there's a couple of things that are on special. I can let you know. All right. But yeah, at the moment, that's what's in yours. So, if you saw Luke's invoice, you'd see a different motherboard on there, and that's because I didn't see that deal when I first did Luke the quote. and I saw that deal, and it just worked out. I get a better SSD with it, and I was like, you can add the Wi-Fi back onto it, and it will be the same price. I'm like, I'm definitely doing that. I'm not going to just get someone a worse deal when I can just easily get them a better deal.
Like, so it's cotton copy.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Sweet. So we can put the E key in there, and it shouldn't obstruct that M2 slot. Very nice. Very fancy. I know. But you shouldn't be, because you didn't get up till like midday.
Yeah, but I'm still tired.
It's only been 7 and like nearly 8 hours. You haven't even done a third of a day. Not even a third of a day. Alright, so we'll get rid of the task view and Cortana button, get rid of that terrible mail app, and we will update Windows, download 22H2, and we'll get MSI Center. Free trial, it's free software. What are you talking about? Do I want a free trial of free software? Is that MSI's attempt to make you pay for it? Also need R23 from here for the stress test. And I need some custom desktop icons here so I don't make a mess when I install some software. Alright. What's going on here? Downloading pretty slow. Okay, Google Chrome, the world's most popular browser. CPU Z tells you information about your system. Crystal disk info and disk mark. Test your SSDs. Marks for our stress test. We have an NVIDIA card, hardware monitor, no Corsair, We could install Intel driver and support for the Wi-Fi, but we can also skip that. Windows does a pretty good job of it. Yeah, what's up?
Matthew says probably an old question. Would you recommend upgrading to Windows 11 now or wait?
Well, look, I mean, I still get random bugs with it. You know, I use it on my personal every day. I'm not gaming or anything like that on it. I'd honestly just stay with Windows 10 for now. I mean, I still only install Windows 10 because it's more stable and all that. I've got a Samsung SSD, I'll put Samsung Magician on there. You don't have to have this, but it does come with your motherboard. Looks like our graphics card driver. Okay, let's set up this really quickly as well. This is MSI Afterburner, which is an app that controls your graphics card settings, and it also has the Reaver Tuner statistic server, which is our on-screen display here. We've got a 6-core 12-thread CPU. We've got each of our threads here, and then the one without a number is the total, if you've ever wondered what that was. Okay, apply that. Boom. Reaver Tune is all set up and ready to go. That's done. Still got that going on. Okay, I think that's everything we need.
They look like brother and sister themselves.
What's that?
Oh, I was just reading about couples that want to have as many children as God can give them.
They look like brother and sister.
Yeah. Oh, look.
They do. They really do. Something about the eyes.
Yeah. That's kind of fucked up.
Hey, I still remember those two people who were, they looked like identical, but they're definitely not related.
Oh, yes. The baseball players.
Yes.
That was really tricky.
Yes. These two people in minor league baseball in America, they look identical and they have the same name, and they're not genetically related at all.
No, they didn't.
They're like doppelgangers. They look exactly like each other and they have the same name and they do the same thing. That's what's fucked up. You know what's fucked up? That's fucked up. Okay, so we should have MSI Center installed. We'll get our drivers and motherboard firmware and the random apps that come with this. Microsoft Store's updated itself. Disabled those apps that we don't want starting up automatically. Who else hates apps that just start up automatically every time you open the computer?
Really annoying. It's like, I'll open you if I want to open it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I will open you if I feel like it. I'll decide what games I want to play today, thank you very much. Steam and Epic Games and Origin. I won't say Battle.net because that's all that most people play is Warzone. Oh, that is sick. That is sick.
That's so cool.
Oh.
That's your card too.
It's my graphics card. Oh.
Sonic! I want
I think
it.
you have to post a picture of that. I can't remember where this is, so I'm just setting it at my local time. Just right click the time and go to adjust date and time to change it if I've got the time zone wrong. Alrighty. We've got a 2 terabyte hard drive in here as well. Go. So that should all be good. Okay. Oh, do you want to move over to? Do you want to move over once you finish typing? Do you want to move over to full screen view for a bit while all this does its thing? I might start prepping up this motherboard. So, as discussed, this is the Asus Z690M dash plus, I should say. Yep. I forgot what? UV bugged. Maybe not. Okay, so. Oh, that's too good. That is too good.
He glued them to the piping. That's so cool.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, what I'm going to get out of the way while this is all doing its thing over here, is I'm going to prep up our I/O shield. So our I/O shield has room for our Wi-Fi to be installed. So what you first want to do is break out the 2 little Wi-Fi holes there and just leave your I/O shield down there. You can also bend up any bits of metal that are potentially going to get in the way for you. These little bits at the back, I like to bend them up. Alrighty. So we're going to install this without the back PCIe bracket. we're going to conceal everything and install it on the rear I/O. So this will look a lot nicer, basically. So we have our E key.
Haha, Thermaltake RAM in it too.
Yes.
In the
The-
Sonic one.
Yep, looks like DDR5 Thermaltake RAM, if I'm not mistaken.
Razer edition motherboard.
Razer edition motherboard, eh? Very fancy. So our Wi-Fi E key is the same. This might look a little bit weird, but if you caught my my one with the PC with the Wi-Fi Bluetooth that wasn't working, and we removed the Wi-Fi E key from the back from a motherboard that had included Wi-Fi, so it's the same card. We're just installing it here on our end. I will need. Oh, bloody hell! Jesus, they are on there.
Oh, nice.
This is how they made the rings.
Yeah. Oh, this is how he made the whole thing. I'm watching a short video of it.
Ah, cool. Okay, so we remove the Wi-Fi antennas from that PCIe plate, and then we go ahead and position them in our rear I/O shield. So we're going to chuck them both in there. Alright, then chuck your washers back on. Oh, don't drop them. Now once your washers are on, you can put the screw back on.
Buddy, no.
Alrighty, so then you've got your Wi-Fi installed on the rear I/O, and then you just have this excess cable here. Just leave it sort of bound up in the circle that it was packaged in. And we can just leave that. Oop. Just there, and that's what it's going to look like on the back. Like it was already meant to be there, but it's an extra thing that we installed. So we're nearly finished on the other PC, so we'll come back to that just quickly. But I'll finish prepping this motherboard. Alrighty. Got our Wi-Fi antennae. And we've got our memory. So once again, this is the Thermaltake RAM from before. Really, really good stuff, this. It's underrated sort of thing. Look at that. Very fancy. There we go. And now we got our Crucial P3. So these are excellent. We tested these the other night. Ah, yeah.
Mr. Teacher says, oh no, why is this doing instead of using Wi-Fi motherboard?
Why? Because this got my customer a better deal. It got them an upgraded motherboard and a better SSD for the same price. And all I had to do was install a Wi-Fi key. No problems at all. Not necessarily a great thing for an end user, a great thing for a system builder like me, because I don't have any problems installing them. So why would I use an included Wi-Fi motherboard when this is the same thing that's in an included Wi-Fi motherboard? Like that's exactly what is behind the I/O shield there, in a vertical position on most motherboards. So if you catch my video a little while ago, a few days ago, you can see me actually replace a Wi-Fi E key on a motherboard with included integrated Wi-Fi. So it's the same thing, I'm just adding the chip there. So a little bit more work, but it got the customer a better deal and got him a better SSD. What's up? Alrighty, if you want to go back to the other one, we can finish up here because everything's all looking good over this side. There you go. Did you not have me on full view?
I had no idea what you were doing. I'm sorry.
So I installed the whole thing and it wasn't on full screen. Oh. Sorry about that. Yep.
That wants to know if you've had a build using Intel graphics yet.
No, not yet. Not yet. I'm thinking of potentially buying one for myself to have a play around with. I just don't know when I've got time to do that. So I'm just doing all the boring shit right here with Luke's build, just prepping up the cooler, and we've got the motherboard all set up. Alrighty, so that was Heaven there on high with no anti-aliasing, and this is our 3060 Ti rig with Ryzen 5 5600. Move over and run Valley next. Ultra with max anti-aliasing. And obviously the main event is what's coming up next. So we're going to do something, we'll do the same thing with this cooler as we did on the other build, I think. Pipes up top. Okay, where are our fan bolts going? Okay. Okay. Here we go. Oh, what's going on?
Oh, people are cheating in Warzone 2 and they're using boats as planes.
Boats as planes.
Yeah. See?
Is it a boat? Is it a plane?
No, it's a boat.
No, it's just a boat in the sky.
It's a
Yep.
Matthew says, oh, nice, I'm running a AMD 5600X with 68X release of AMD graphics cards. I'm seriously considering an upgrade.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with 5600X and DDR4 and stuff though. Like, I'd wait. Personally, I'd wait till the next generation of AMD CPUs. Let them adjust to the LGA socket type and get that right. And then, you know, maybe a better generation is just around the corner. You know, like that's what I'm sort of hoping for.
New pictures of the moon.
Oh, really? Very detailed pictures of the moon.
Well, I'd wanna be. This is from Orion spacecraft. That new one that they just provided.
Oh, yep. Oh, looks like Valley's definitely run through. It might have run through twice. I think I was focusing on the cooler there for too long. Anyway, let's run superposition and we can start the stress test. And then we're pretty much ready to start prepping up Luke's case. So that'll be good. Yep.
Matthew says it's a shame AMD hasn't upgraded
Oh, I'm sure they're trying. It's, you know, it's easier said than done to be a, you know, to be a CPU maker and compete with a company that's just graphics cards. You know, I think they'll be behind the eight ball for a while, considering where Nvidia is. It's just because it's one company. If like Radeon, if Radeon wants to beat Nvidia, Radeon's got to be Radeon and not be so closely tied to AMD. That's my opinion. Whether I'm right or wrong, it's up for debate, right? But in my experience, companies, you know, that have one core focus do better at that than a company that's like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So, just basically, that's my opinion there on that subject. So. It's not going to sit the way that I want it to sit. But that's okay. We're nearly done here, and like I said, we can get all this in the case. And the star of our show will be installed. So 3060 Ti is about a third of the performance of a 4090, roughly. But it's less than a quarter of the price. So it beats it in terms of price to performance. But raw performance, the 4090 absolutely smashes. Sweet. So let's get it stressing. So we'll set this up for a 90-minute run. Okay, so we let this one run and we make sure that nothing's overheating and that everything's performing as expected. So I'm going to put this one down here on the floor beside us. Yeah.
It says the graphics card boxes are getting bigger and bigger with each generation.
Oh, I know. It's going to mean that, you know, like water-cooled graphics cards are going to become more and more of a thing because the size of the cooling solution that they're strapping to the graphics cards is becoming ridiculous. A bit like air coolers got. Air coolers, the reason why we use water coolers. So I always get this question, I always get people who think that the water is making it colder, because obviously water's got to be cold. No, water can be very, very hot as well. Alright, so the water doesn't do the cooling. Okay, that's what people need to get through their heads. So you might be thinking, what am I talking about? They're called water coolers, aren't they? Well, yeah, they're called water coolers, but the water is the vector of heat transfer. So it's not like the water is doing the cooling. The fans are still doing the cooling because the water's being pumped through this radiator, which has got fans attached to it. It's a way of moving the radiator away from the actual CPU. So the water's just there to be cooled by the fans on the radiator. Try running your liquid cooler without any fans on the radiator and then tell me how effective it is. It's not effective, that's the answer. And so what we're going to do here that's a little bit different to what we normally do is we're going to install a couple of fans here below where the graphics card's going to go. And so we're going to have some extra fans blowing on our 4080 just so it stays nice and cool. Cool, calm, just like my mum. A cup full of Valium and cider palm. Mr. Mischief with a trick up his sleeve, roll right on you like Christopher Reeve. Kids these days wouldn't even know who Christopher Reeve is, wouldn't even understand that freaking reference. If you said that to Riley, he wouldn't fully understand. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's 4K, right? 4K gaming on 4090. That's usually the way people want it. I mean, you could go like a really high refresh rate 1440p monitor as well, depending what your poison is, I guess. So the thing about screens, right, is as long as the specs are right and there's no really bad reviews, you can normally buy with a bit of confidence because it's not like there's as many companies making the actual panels as there are brands of monitors, TVs and stuff like that. There's only a few companies that are set up to make like display panels, right? So the quality is fairly consistent. What you want to wrap your head around with monitors is the specs, okay? So the panel types, the refresh rate of the monitor, obviously the screen size and resolution. So resolution is the pixel dimensions. That's why it's written like 1080 or 1920 times 1080, which is the pixel dimensions. And then you've got the other factor, which is the screen size. So that determines how big the pixels are. So wrap your head around that if you're not quite up to speed with monitors, right? So you could have a 1080p monitor that's 23 inches, 24 inches, 27 inches, 32 inches. And as you go up, each individual pixel is getting bigger on those screens because it's that 1080 screen stretched over a bigger area. So normally with 1080p monitors, you don't want to go bigger than about 27 inches. That's about as big as you want a 1080p monitor. After that, you start basically losing quality by going bigger. That's where 1440p comes in. So if you want a 32-inch monitor, you're better off going 1440. You got more pixels in that 32-inch screen space. And then you've got the panel types. So do you want a curved monitor? Do you want a flat IPS display? Look up the differences between the different displays and the different panel types, because that's one of the fundamental things that you need to decide. I can't tell you whether you prefer a curved monitor, whether you prefer an IPS panel, etc. I can't tell you what your individual preference is going to be there. So look that up, familiarise yourself with what that is. But the other factors there that I just spoke about, the resolution and the screen size, they're the main two things that you got to wrap your head around. Obviously, look for any product, check the reviews and make sure there's no terrible reviews for a certain model. You don't need to do that to yourself if the reviews are there and it's common and it's known to be a problem. See, what you'll find pretty quickly is whether people have had problems with the model that you're looking for, because there'll be a lot of stuff about it. You'll see a lot of stuff on like Reddit and stuff, people bitching about it and all that. Or you might find something on Reddit, you might find a lot of problems, and then you might find that after a certain date, everyone was chiming into Reddit and going, "Oh, I've got that monitor, I've got no problems, it's great. Never had any issue like that." And that's obviously an issue that the company's probably addressed, and you're not seeing it so much anymore. Or it was just a batch issue or something. So, alrighty. So I'm just sort of untying all these cable ties that they like to put around the wires. I don't like wire cable ties around cables back here. So I untie all them. So after all those cable ties that I just removed, I'm just going to put one plastic one around these. 6 devices here. It's 3 fans and 3 RGB for the fans. They're the pre-installed ones on the front of our case. And you can just tuck the excess around the side there. We've got a couple more fans there. And chuck them on the controller. That's from the bottom there. That one at the back as well, got the RGB and everything else. Okay, that's all looking good. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on air fans intake air as opposed to exhaust configuration?
Well,
the XLK, which is preferable intake air and included air?
Well, I prefer the, obviously I put the radiators, I like them top mounted, and that is so that the heat from the CPU is expelled outside the case. I don't want the heat from the CPU expelled inside the case, making things hotter, because these days graphics cards put out a lot of heat, so we don't need any heat from the CPU going straight back into the case. I'd rather get that directly outside of the case. I think that's beneficial, and I think that's demonstrably the best position for it. So you can do it other ways. You know, you can make it run like that, but I think just based on like the theory of it, makes a lot of sense to have your radiator in the exhaust position for your CPU, so it's not generating heat and putting that heat straight into the case where all your other components are that you're trying to keep cool. Okay, so we've got a nice 1000-watt power supply here for our 4090. Okay, so we're going to need one SATA cable. We obviously need our motherboard cable. And we're going to need... No. So we're going to need the rest of these. Yes. Okay, and we don't need, oh no, we will need one of them. Okay, so we've got a nice little bag there for our excess cables from MSI. And so these MSI power supplies, they're on a really good price right now. It's like $220 or so for a 1000-watt power supply, 80 plus gold rated with a 10-year manufacturer's warranty. So I'm pretty happy with that. So as you know, it's my advice, always go for the longer warranty parts. Because when you go for a longer warranty part, the chance of it failing is highest in that last year of your warranty, right? So there's a higher chance if you go for something with a longer warranty, that potentially, if something goes wrong, you'll get a brand new part 4 years into your build, or a refund for that part, and then a better upgraded part. So yeah, it's always usually in your favour to go with a longer warranty. It usually makes a whole lot of sense, because not only will you be getting a better quality part that is statistically more likely to last you, long term, like 8+ years. But if it does fuck up, you're most likely going to get a new unit, and it's most likely going to happen right at the end of that period.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like a tool set, but they're dental instruments.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I got a wisdom tooth coming through right now.
You want me to get a pair of these pliers out for you? Just reef it out?
Yeah, no thanks.
Sure. Free.
Don't need you, just need you. Okay, so there's our power supply all prepped up with the cables that we need. just got a couple of extra offsets to install here. There we go. Okay. Last thing. Man, it's really humid here tonight, eh? Really humid. I got the air conditioning on, I'm sweating. Okay. So now for the fiddly part. Hey babe, do you reckon you could come around here and help me with this? Can you just hold the radiator there? I've got to put the I/O shield on, and it's connected to the motherboard with a wire. So it's a little bit more awkward than normal. But this is what I do to get my customer a better SSD. And yeah, this isn't like some weird substandard version. This is exactly the same thing that they have on all the boards that have integrated Wi-Fi. It just means they have this pre-installed because it's sort of a little bit harder for most people to install themselves. As you can see here, it's a little bit of a two-person job here to hold this in place. Perfect.
I don't think I need to hold that anymore.
No. It's all good now. Okay, these are our CPU power cables up here. So I'll get those, get the CPU power cables plugged in first. And then we'll chuck one cable tie around these just to hold them all in place. There's a few cables there. So I'm plugging in our RGB and fan controller up the top here. Now I normally plug these in down the bottom, but Asus motherboards have an annoying feature where they have like a CPU fan fail warning thing. And what that does is, if you don't have something plugged into the CPU fan header, it brings up a warning every time you turn on the computer, unless you specifically turn that off in BIOS. So sometimes when we utilize a motherboard like this and a cooler like this, we won't actually have any need to plug anything into the CPU fan header. Yeah.
George wants to know regarding fans, maintenance is preferable to run more fans at the same RPM, different RPM for the AIOs or side bottom intake fans.
So for your case, I know exactly what your case is, George. Can't ever forget you. So for yours, basically you just want to worry about the top fans on your cooler, and then also your bottom fans. Perfect. Alrighty. Check it out. So we tuck our CPU cables just around the lip of this case here. We don't actually, have to have it tied up anywhere. We can hook that fan, put that behind those two there. Alrighty, so all this stuff up here. We've got our included controller. So I've got one. Oh. Two. And three. So they're our fans, and they should also just tuck in up there behind the lip. Shouldn't have to tie them down or anything. Okay. So we can control all of the RGB from the included controller with our cooler. Alrighty, there we go. So this is always a bit of a head fuck to plug in. but I should be right. Actually, let's unplug that one from the motherboard. Because I want all the RGB fans to be all synced up.
Cowan says, what cable?
What cable management? Yeah, well, if you expect me to tie down every customer's PC with 50 million cable ties, yeah, that's not what you're going to see here. Because we're not about making PCs hard to work on and, you know, a big pain in the ass, make more labour for the customer to pay for. We don't do any of that. We make things simple. It doesn't make sense to go and put a million cable ties out the back in cases that have plenty of room to tuck away your cables discreetly. So that's one thing you're never going to see here. So if you want someone to build your PC that's got 10,000 cable ties out the back, yeah, you might want to go look somewhere else. Go find someone else who's into that. Because yeah, I don't believe in that, because it's making more work for me if I have to fix the PC in the future. And
It's a waste of fucking
it's
cable ties.
It's a waste of plastic. It's a waste of cable ties, just more broadly. So yeah, if you want to talk about cable management, have a look at the front of my case. So we got a micro ATX board in an ATX case. Have a look. Take notice about how few cables you see down the bottom. You're not going to see any cables sticking up from the bottom. You're not going to see thin cables sticking in from the side. I actually do quite a lot of cable management, but I focus it 100% on the side that you actually look at, not the side that you don't look at. So there's always one person who wants to criticise me about that. I've always got a rather assertive answer for you there about why I don't. So what my answer might displease you, but that comes from years and years and years of building PCs, okay? And I grew up in an era where, you know, we didn't even have glass side panels and stuff like that. So you've got to convince me that the work makes sense to do the work, okay? So I'm waiting for someone to convince me that it makes sense. Yeah.
So, white also, can you get white 49s?
You get white 4090s? Yeah, I think so. Well, they exist. They're probably not in stock. They're probably sold out straight away. You can definitely get a white 4080. Alrighty, so in terms of cable management, what we're doing here is we're routing all of our thin cables behind our motherboard. This is how you mount a micro ATX board in an ATX case without it looking like a monkey. So basically all of these thin cables are perfectly fine to route behind your motherboard. Okay, so nothing that we're hooking up here is going to be pressed on the back of our motherboard. The cables will freely move around at the back there without problems. You're looking for a white 4090.
Not having much luck.
Yeah, there might not be any in stock, but it's not that they don't exist, if you know what I mean. I'd say
The Supreme, that one's like...
Yeah, you can go MSI Supreme. That's basically, it's not fully white, but it's like got a lot of silver on it. So you can use it in a white build and it still looks fine. Still looks white as. If it's still not enough for you, then you know you can look at a 4080. 4080 doesn't get the love it deserves. Alrighty, and
George says, cable tie police on patrol.
yep.
Vienna says, always patrol, George.
They're always out there. They're always out there.
Just can't help himself.
It's the armchair enthusiasts, right?
There's not enough cable ties.
The armchair
I
enthusiast.
did that once to my PC and I never did it again. Because I had like fucking 20 of the bloody things cut.
She was like, yep, I'm making it all look perfect on mine. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you say. And I'm like, okay, whatever, you do that. You do whatever you want to do. And then she sees firsthand why you don't do it. When she had to go and cut them all out. And now you've just added so much RGB that it would just be a 3-hour job every time you want to change a fan.
Check it out. Somebody parked a rocket outside of Tesla HQ with a body of a goat and Elon's head on it.
Oh my god.
He parked it outside his HQ.
Oh my fucking god.
That's fucking gold. I love it. The entrepreneurs behind Goats Giving did it. And they spent $600,000 on it.
Oh wow.
That's a very expensive stunt.
Very expensive. Okay. So, we have everything all hooked up except for our graphics card.
They posted it on Twitter too. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's a good publicity stunt for them, I guess. Get your company recognised. Oh. Okay, so now we've just got our 4 8-pin connectors here, which go into our graphics card. Alrighty. Let's open her up. Probably me for telling off someone about cable ties. Oh no! He hasn't perfectly manicured the stuff at the back.
Tim,
Yeah.
getting roasted for releasing 4080 version, which should have been 3070.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 4080 that's out now is not the one that should have been the 4070. Just FYI. That's the one that's coming out as the 4070, so they're actually releasing it like that.
Exactly, George. It says out of sight, out of mind. Besides, like we're nuts about to change the fan. There's 3 billion.
Exactly. I'm not going to make more work for myself. I'm not going to make more work for my partners, like other PC businesses around the country, just so it looks nice at the back. If you want to go and tie everything down, you can go do that. But I'm not going to do that. Look at this chunky thing. Look at this. Oh god. She's like a fucking sad puppy, just looking at me like.
I wanted to peel the plastic.
Oh.
Eh. Pretty. Oh, there we go.
Okay. So, a little bit of a 4090 lesson. Okay? So, what was going wrong with these connectors? Okay, why were they causing fires? So, the reason was that they weren't plugged in properly. They weren't plugged in all the way. So, at the bottom here, you've got a clip. It's a little bit flimsy. And so, what happens is people get too excited and then they try to jam it in the wrong way and then back around the other way, and they damage this bit that kind of holds the cable in, and then they bend the cable on a weird angle, and then it sort of half like pulls the cable out, and when it's like partially plugged in, partially not, that can generate some extra heat and that can cause issues. So you just make sure that your connector is plugged in all the way, and you shouldn't have any problems. And so I've sold a couple of 4090 systems so far, and we haven't had no one's bought them back saying that their 4090's catching on fire or starting to smoke or anything like that. Yeah.
Mike wants to know, is that a stock wall behind or empty boxes?
Oh, it's empty boxes, dude. Empty boxes. No. I don't hoard stock here. So part of my business model is I don't do that because I want to offer customers the full manufacturer's warranty on parts.
Yeah, speaking of that, Luke wants to know what's the warranty on the GPU and the CPU.
They're 3 years. They're just standard 3-year warranty. There's nothing we can do about getting longer warranty periods with them. But for the SSDs, the power supplies, the AIO coolers, yes, we can get longer periods of warranty on them. Everything else is just 3 years. That's just standard. But the thing is, like, when it comes to something like a CPU should last longer than 3 years. The company just won't warrant it for longer than 3 years. Okay. Alrighty, so how do we cable manage this thing here? So what you want to do is you want to get these in line with the order that they're coming out of that connector. Then you want to kind of like bend them around and sort of lay them down kind of flat. And then the idea is to get a cable tie and just tie them so they're held in place more or less in that position. You don't necessarily want to do this as tight as it can go, just enough to kind of hold them in position, if that makes sense. And then we've got our graphics card cables to worry about there. So I'm just going to get these in line with each other.
the most Google car brand covering countries. Someone from Syria says, here in Syria we use horses.
In Syria. Oh no, poor Syria.
There's somebody actually from Syria, so, yeah. I think he's allowed to say it.
Yeah. Oh, he's paying. He's definitely just paying out on his own country for sure. For sure. And then one more cable tie just around your PCIe cables. There we go, and that's about all you can do with these current connectors, these adapters that we've got for the 40 series. Alrighty. And then we know if we've done our cable management right, because we'll be able to put the back of the case on with ease. Because all of our cables fit in place. Alrighty. So, do you want to go back to the split screen quickly, and we'll check up.
Yes.
We'll check up on our PC that was stress testing. So, how are we going over here? Everything's still running. We're about halfway through the stress test. And how's everything looking? So our CPU hasn't even got over 57 degrees. So that's really, really good, running Cinebench R23. And our graphics card sitting there at 63 and it's up to 78 on the hotspot. So GPU can get up to 83 degrees, hotspot can get up to 100 degrees, and our CPU temperature here can get up to 95 degrees. So absolutely no issues with temperatures on our first PC there. What's up?
George says that may appease the cable tie gods.
maybe, but don't get your hopes up. All right. Okay, so we're gonna switch over from this one. So it's still going to be running the stress test there.
What the?
We just won't be plugged into it.
Tim,
Yeah.
check this out.
Oh, what's that?
It's a key. Full set case.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that is so cool. Okay,
Yeah.
check it out. Let's see. There's a little Corsair flag on the back of it too.
The little Corsair flag on the back of it.
It's a pirate ship. Army Harleys.
Okay, I just had to turn my computer off before we turn this one on. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Why are you so
I
bright?
don't know. Why am I so bright?
I don't know. It's very glaring. Oh, there it goes.
Yep.
Luke says, I think I need one more fan down the bottom to make 3 so it matches the 3 up the top and 3 on the front.
Ah, well, unfortunately, it doesn't mount a third fan there.
You could double-sided tape on that.
Yeah.
That could work.
Yeah. Okay, so what have we got here? Older BIOS version. Do you want to grab a BIOS for this, babe? Do you want to be the BIOS, babe?
I guess. I really need a shirt that says that. You said it, now I really want. No, I need that for my mouse. Unplug the black one. This one.
Yep, she is the BIOS babe. I'm going to call her that from now on. Alrighty, so while she's getting that, I'm going to put some more screws in our radiator, because I only put 2 screws in the radiator just to hold it in place while we're doing this. So yeah, these 2 fans at the bottom just get some extra airflow there to your 4090, because I remember you were asking how many fans the case had and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, we can put them in. I'm pretty sure the 3 on the front and then the radiator in the exhaust position will be all that you need in terms of airflow, but the 2 there drawing some extra cool air in.
Download it, Christine. I was like, why is it not in the downloads? I looked at it and then I was like, right.
Righty. So let's go over. So we need our Easy Flash utility.
Hang on.
Okay, we need our Prime Z690. Yep.
Blake says, if I pay tomorrow, can you build tomorrow? Or?
Possibly, but yeah, we'll see, because I've got a heap of people from Friday. I took 6 people's orders on Friday, and both these PCs built today for orders I only took today. So I do have a bit of a backlog.
Cat.
Okay, sweet. Oh. Yeah.
You know how you don't like rice?
Yes, that's great. I like it.
I want that. That looks so good.
Yo.
You want a spoonful? Fits in the bottom of your in the bottom of your phone. Take it. What are you looking at? What the fuck?
Cast to a screen, dickhead. Alrighty. So we'll activate BIOS. Sorry, activate BIOS. We'll activate our XMP and exit out of BIOS. Okay. So let's get Windows installed here.
So,
Yeah.
like, what's what frames we going to be getting for Warzone?
Oh, honestly, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but you'll be getting shitloads.
Can you stop moving my mouse around? Oh, I gotta click on something that moves.
Well, be a better moderator, and I won't need the mouse at all.
Oh, that was shit. Don't worry, I came prepared. I have. Oh!
I remain unaffected. Christine used throw shit. It was not very effective.
That was effective.
No, it wasn't.
Look, I landed a hit.
If you landed a hit, it didn't do any damage. You did damage the other day.
Look at it, look at it!
When you and fucking Riley get together, a couple of little bitches.
Oh, fuck off!
Couple of little bitches cackling on. That's what you guys are.
I can upgrade the box and make it bigger.
I remain unconvinced. I remain unconvinced.
Something heavy. No, I don't need this.
Just settle down. No.
They found they found artifacts from Vikings in Newfoundland.
Mm-hmm.
They were there in 1021. So northern Europeans were there just before they actually settled the area.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. The Vikings.
Okay. Australia. We use the US keyboard layout because of the dollar sign on the keyboard. So always set a blank password and username. So if it asks you for a password that you did not set, hit enter with a blank password, because I didn't set one either. Oh, this is great. Alright, our Wi-Fi card's working good. Our LAN is coming along. Let's get this set up. So we need R23 for our stress test.
move something. Move your screen so it's not.
Alright, let's get some other software installed here quickly. Put down some custom desktop icons so I don't make a mess of the place while I'm installing all this stuff. So this is useful software that should be on every computer, and also just stuff that you're just going to have to download yourself. Like BattleNet for Warzone, Google Chrome, the world's most popular browser. You can just uninstall any of this stuff that I'm installing here. But things like CPU-Z, Crystal Disk Info, Hardware Monitor, these apps don't take up a lot of space and they're very useful to have on your computer. Crystal Disk Info will let you check the health of your storage devices, so it'll tell you how much life your hard drive or SSD will have left in it. CPU-Z just tells you general stuff about your computer. Like if you want to know what your motherboard is, you want to know what CPU you're running, etc., etc., it'll tell you all that information.
Those PCs that I was looking at, this big also kind of does.
Oh,
similar
yeah.
to what you do, but it's water cooled.
Yeah. Okay, this is all coming along. Where are we? Yeah, 40 series drivers.
Okay. They're in that company's in the Philippines.
Ah, yep.
I just saw them tag the mayor and they built one for the mayor.
Ah, cool.
That's quite cool. I
Mhm.
love these people. Very nice. That'd be pretty cool to build one from Brisbane, wouldn't it?
Yes, definitely. Yes, if you're the mayor of Brisbane, call me up. We'll build your PC.
Call me, call me, call me, call me.
Pretty much. So MSI Afterburn is really useful.
Our mayor's from the Liberal Party.
Yeah.
I have no
Does that
idea.
surprise you?
No, not really. It still makes me go,
Alrighty, there's our GPU, RTX 4090, and our 16 core 24 thread CPU, 1624. There's our memory running at full speed. And Armory Crate's still installing. Of course. Is there anything I've forgotten? I don't think so. Alrighty, so check out how fast I can make our SSD with this software. Once we're done with Armory Crate, we'll sort that out. So we can actually use our RAM to speed up our SSD. Okay, get all that sorted there. Yeah, that's still sweet.
You need to move that other mouse away from your hand.
Okay. Issue with MSI Afterburner, that's okay. We can reinstall. Turn off all this annoying shit that starts up automatically. I won't worry about that. So these are designed to come on in the background. The other ones pop up in your face. Yeah.
Check it out.
These normally don't take this long to install. So we've probably got something else in the background that's been conflicting with it. So as soon as Armory Crate does its thing, it's a bit slow as well. It's always slow. Well, Asus with their superior software.
Yes. Somebody won a NASCAR championship using game technique. Slingshotting. Watch this. It's where you ride the outer rim of the I didn't know that would actually be like a real life. Cool. Cool ride.
Okay.
Somebody got banned on iRacing for doing it.
Someone got banned on iRacing.
Oh, for doing this slingshot maneuver.
Alright.
That's fun.
So we'll drop a restart and we should be good to run some benchmarks.
So the back and bottom fans, not RGB.
No, they're just plain.
You can change them to RGB.
We can swap them to RGB ones, Coy, if you want. RGB fans are $20 each.
Check out this Japanese robot that can play basketball. Check it out. Humans don't need to play sport anymore. Robots!
Mm-hmm.
No.
Alrighty. No updates needed, that's what I like to see. Okay.
What the fuck?
So after all that finally installed properly.
That looks so stupid. Incorporates skating, cycling, and scooting all in one.
But why though?
I don't know.
Okay. Look, why am I seeing hardware monitor in there? You definitely want that app. Alrighty. So you ready to see some carnage? I'm ready to see some carnage. So this number here below RAM is how many frames per second it's currently running at? Yeah.
Like says he definitely wants the RGB ones.
Yeah, no worries, man. Look at that frame rate. Yeah, Blake, all your fans are RGBs. They're the Leon Lee, sorry, not the Leon Lee, the Silverstone Slimmer fans that we used before in the NZXT case. So that's the ones that I've quoted you for yours. It's very easy to change out fans though. You've got a fan controller at the back of the case, so you can always swap them out at a later date. I mean, Luke's was only meant to have this one at the top there. I've chucked these two extra ones in for free. Armchair enthusiasts. They're starting to go to sleep. She's like so confused that she's getting food.
What? What? I was asleep, man. What's going on?
Yeah, Luke. So I've installed all those sort of apps for you. So you've got NVIDIA GeForce Experience that'll keep your graphics drivers up to date. You've obviously got the Windows Update utility there that'll keep most of your other software and drivers up to date. But there's also I also installed the Intel Driver Assist tool, which will help keep your Intel related drivers up to date. And then you also have the Armory Crate utility, which is software that comes with your motherboard. And so you'll be able to keep things to do with your motherboard up to date from there. So a few different things. So you got Armory Crate, you got GeForce Experience, and you've got the Intel, this one here, this little blue spanner, the Intel Driver Update utility, and obviously Windows Update. So if you just check those 4 things periodically for updates, you'll never go wrong. If there's something significant, GeForce Experience gives you notifications telling you that you've got graphics card driver updates. So yeah, happy days. So the next one is Valley. We do this on Ultra with max anti-aliasing. This is a more demanding benchmark as well. So Heaven's pretty easy to run. This one's more harder. But where this card truly shines is on the 4K benchmark, which is next.
haven't seen him all night.
Don't know. He was around earlier for food. Okay, so that was Valley there on Ultra with max anti-aliasing. And finally we do our 4K. And this is the one where it just smashes. So remember, it's 4K as well. Makes a mockery of it. 4K, what are you talking about? It hasn't dipped below 212 FPS at 4K. Temperature staying really stable there in the mid 60s. Remember, it can get up to 83 degrees.
Go away for 2 seconds. He eats her dinner. Won't eat his now. And Mooney's run off. Darn it, outside. You are such a
Alrighty. So it's all behaving itself really, really well. So I'm not foreseeing any issues with this. Did you take his food back?
I took Mooney's off. Should I take his as well?
Yeah, take it back and just put it back in the bag if he does that. That's how you teach him that there's no free lunch.
Like there's like a whole bowl.
Yeah. Just tip it back in the bag. set this up quickly. Because I'm pretty tired. I've been working all day. I'm going to be really tired over the next month. It's going to be a big month. Let's see. Alrighty. You might have to, because that beeping there was my UPS telling me we're over power. Well, looks like the other PC stress test is complete. Got no more heat coming out of it. I'm just going to shut our first PC down because that's passed its stress test. We checked in on it halfway through. There's no reality where it was overheating at the end of that. One thing I might do though is, because we've got an i9 in here, don't we? Alright, so let's set it for let's set it up for this stress test. So I'll tell you something about Intel. Intel have basically got all of their chips kind of like overclocked, but it's from factory. So they're out of the box, basically. They push so much power through them because they want to beat AMD at all the benchmarks that it's like they're overclocked from factory. And if you want to actually use the CPU like 100% all cores and all threads, which is not how you use a CPU for gaming, then you have to really put in a custom power profile. If not, it's just going to go straight to 100 degrees. Even if you spent $2,000 on an open loop liquid cooling system for it, it's still going to go straight to 100 degrees, okay? But it's not a case of your cooler's not working, it's a case of how they are tuned. So we use this app here, Intel Extreme Tuning Utility. And what this does is it enables me to easily save in a custom power profile for you that you can load up if ever you're using your CPU for like video rendering or something like that. You don't have to worry about this if you're just gaming. Yeah, what's up, babe? Hey, man. Hey, how's the morning in Greece? Sorry if we missed anyone in the comments. So I'm going to go over here to advanced tuning. Yep. Ah, Peter, yes. Peter's PC was the first one, so that should have all been good. All right, we'll set a 170 watt limit here. This should be adequate. We'll save that in there. I'm going to go to profiles and I'm going to save this profile. I'm going to call it render for if you're doing video rendering on the CPU or something like that. What's up?
Rick says I'll send you an email with my postal address, mate.
Yes. Yes. So, yeah, send me through your postal address and I'll get this shipped off tomorrow for you. Okay, so we've got our render profile there. So all we do is open this up, click on the render, click on apply, and it's applied what I've just done here. Okay, so you don't have to worry about this for gaming, but if you're using it for video rendering and you don't want it to get too hot, use this render profile, okay? So Cinebench and Firmark. There we go, there's Firmark, and we'll do our 90-minute run here in Cinebench. Oh, and I should have opened up Hardware Monitor while we were doing this.
I'm starting to think that your YouTube chat is the place where Greek people come to
I think so. I think so.
There's 3 people now.
Oh, it's crazy. There we go. So CPU sitting there in the 70s, which is how I want it for this kind of stress test.
Tim's PC, best place to meet me.
It's not about trying to make the thing melt. Okay, it's about running a heap of power through it, getting the circuits sort of warmed up and stuff. Because statistically, if something's going to die early, it'll die pretty much at the start, pretty much after the first time it's been used intensively. So I just do this stress test to hopefully, if we've got any dud parts, to make them fail while I've got it before I send it off to you. It's much easier to fix it when I've got it than when you've got it. So yeah, CPU there, our Intel CPUs can get up to 100 degrees, and down here for our graphics card, the GPU can get up to 83 degrees, and the hotspot can get up to 100 plus degrees. So everything's all looking very, very good there. It's cool, calm, running nicely. Okay. Well, we just let this one run for the next 90 minutes. As I said, just running a bit of power through it. So hopefully, if something goes wrong, it'll go wrong while I'm doing it. And then it's all good for you. So, look. This is the point of the night where we wrap things up, because it gets pretty boring from this point on. BIOS, babe.
What's up?
Did you not hear what I just said?
No. Want me to go to full screen?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I was watching Flight
I don't
Simulator
care. I'm still freaking such a bad moderator.
I love you too.
She doesn't even listen to me.
Oh, for fuck's sake, the one night I don't listen to you.
Anyway, so thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video.